Welcome for a special edition of the HNL Tonight Show with hockey coach, global coach franchise directly for the beautiful country of Thailand on the Monday, October 31st, 2022, the last day of the month. So tonight we're going to talk about fun happening in the NHL. First of all, we're going to review the month of October. We know this is the last 3 games of the month. We're going to check everything what's going on the surprise or the team are really disappointed. And then we're going to talk, of course, the Montreal Canadiens, the bilan in the month, but of course the Toronto Maple Leafs are in the trouble over there and the drama since the last game they played yesterday at the Anaheim. They lost by the score 4-3. It's really, really hot in Toronto, if I can call it. And we're going to talk about that situation with the Toronto Maple Leafs. What would be the move? What they're going to do? Everything like that. So we have a lot of contents. Of course, at the end of the night, we're going to do a friendship quiz. And we're going to invite each one of you. We're going to open up the lines in the next 30 minutes. I know Marco is in that chat. We have Randy Walkman is in the chat. And Arthur is going to join us. I'm going to invite you, both of you, in the next couple of minutes, Marco and Randy, maybe to come one by one and then talk about everything. Randy going to talk a little bit about the Pacific Division and the Calgary Flame at some point. And I'm going to talk about something what's going on. And maybe you guys should tell us a little bit what you think about the first month of October, the first month of the season, 2022-2023. So that's what really we have on the menu tonight of the HNL Tonight Show. So we have a few people in the chat. First of all, let's welcome everybody. And starting with this right now, we have at the beginning of the show, we have Mr. Of course, Jose Duarte, the moderator of the Hockey National Show. Welcome aboard, Jose, for upstate New York. Welcome aboard. Stu, back in the house tonight. Welcome aboard. Happy Halloween, by the way. Yes, you're right. Happy Halloween, everybody. And our collaborator of the RJ Calabro is in the house tonight. Welcome, RJ. Update everything. Going to give us all information. Marco said, your thumbnail got my attention. I was here to talk about the leave and the trouble. Marco talk about, of course, we want to talk a little bit with Marco a little bit later, talking about the Montreal Canadiens. And then Randy is in the house tonight. Welcome aboard, Randy, again for Calgary. I have to drive. Be careful, Stu. I will be surprised to know a little bit more, Stu. What kind of costume do you have today for the Halloween? Our friend Jeremy Alla back in the house. Jeremy, we saw him a little bit earlier today. Talk about Roger L, the brother, the other brother, just back from the jail. He just dropped Mr. Nartap. Welcome back in the house. Welcome aboard, Mr. Roger. Chicago, Mr. Nick is in the house tonight. Welcome aboard. We'll let you know, Nick, a little bit later on the show. And Ellen, happy Halloween, Ellen. I'm sure you're not dressed up as a nurse, so I would like to know, Ellen, if you are dressed up today and what it looked like, the weather and Newfoundland at that moment. And thanks to be a part of the show tonight. Let me know when you want me to jump on go. Yeah, be careful. Be careful. Be ready. The next couple of minutes. Mr. Yamo Vartanen is in the house. Welcome aboard, Yamo. Our friend from Denver, Colorado, joined us tonight, Mr. William McClary. Oh, not, I thought it was William Snyder. Oh, Jesus, I did not see the last name. But we have a friend, William McClary, is in the house to the treat or to treat. Thailand. It was pretty nice. It was funny, guys. And, you always learn fun countries, everything like that. Whatsoever, not many was dressed up like I was expected, but they got that kind of, I don't know, like those kind of face with, oh my God, an empty net by the Washington Capitals. They make all the kind of stuff on their face, like, it was funny to see that. Their dresser was not like, I was expecting a bit more, but it is what it is. So I'm learning about something like this. And then you're welcome, Chicago. Chicago, talk about the fun update, 2-2. 4-2 the Blues, 1-0 Los Angeles Kings. Guys, the King is another goal of Villardi. Villardi have 8 goals since the King, and now the Kings just look like they take the lead 2-0. Again, the same with Blues. The Blues right now are not looking good since the beginning of the season. I think they are like Toronto. They lost the last 4 W of the season. I don't like Halloween, coach. Stay home, giving a treat to little kid. The weather is great here in St. John. Here to say that. Here. Glad to hear that. Here we go. From Elena and me too. I've never been really into Halloween, to be honest with you. I did a couple of years, but not much. It was not always been my best holidays. Honestly, the Halloween. I don't know. I'm always put my outfit every single day, anyhow. But thanks, Helen, to sharing. Robert Austin is in the house. Welcome aboard, Robert. The Ox for real? I don't think so, Robert. I think they're going to hang in there like the Montreal Canadiens, but I don't think so. They will be like, they're not going to be a playoff team, but it's surprisingly like the Flyers, like the Buffalo Sabres, the Detroit Montreal Canadiens, how have a good start of the season. But you have to give credit for the coach, Luke Richardson, over there. You can ask any question, guys. I'll be open up here, guys. Just put the letter Q, and we'll see. Vinny, hello, Hockey Nation. Welcome aboard. And Randy, hi, Vinny. And then we are Jose Verdo. Marco, if you want to join me at the beginning, we're going to talk about a little bit about the Montreal Canadiens. Then we're going to talk about Toronto a little bit later. But if you want to join me, Marco, you know the link. Just open up, and I will bring you on the chat with me, talking about the bilan Montreal Canadiens for sure. Come on, Bear, friend, believe, and the Ox. Let's 3-0. Wow, are you killing me? 3-0 right now for the Kings at the first period. Wow, that's crazy. About that, hello, Randy and Jose. We've been listening still 2-2 and the Carolina, by the way. NRTAP is in the house. NRTAP, welcome aboard. And if you want to join us, NRTAP, with Marco, that'd be great. So we can talk about a little bit about the Montreal Canadiens. And if you want to know the link in our tab, so we're going to be you. Marco's still in the green room for about a few seconds until I see everybody here. Miss Kelly is in the house. Welcome aboard, Miss Kelly. Of course, Mean Girl Hockey directly from Winnipeg, Ottawa, Manitoba. Welcome aboard, Mean Girl. That's what we got so far. Then I will going to bring you everybody here. And I can go this way, will be in our top, but it will work anyway. I don't know if good evening. Luciano Graziano is in the house. Welcome aboard, Luciano. The Hawks are not finishing last. No way. I don't think so, Robert. I was talking more about the not make the playoff, Robert. It was the point about him. And we can go here until there is. I just try to figure out what I can do that. We're going to go. Marco, welcome aboard. We're going to delete in our tab there, but it's not a big deal. Marco,
Happy Halloween, Coach. I know it's your favorite.
Good, pretty good. Let me check. I'll bring you a little bit more volume here. And that's
Can you hear me okay?
Here. It's not you. It's just my information here. Dawson Gamer 2010 is in the house. Well, Marco, welcome back in the house. We'll go talk a little bit about maybe the bilan of the Montreal Canadiens. What do you think about Montreal Canadiens after 9-game 5-4-0, the first month of the season 2022-2023?
I'm happy to talk about the Habs, but I was really hoping that you're having me on to talk crap about the Leafs as well.
No, I think I want to be sure we, I think for me the league would be another conversation for Randy about the league. Would be interesting about this. But I would like you prefer to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. You know, you do the app brunch the morning, so the Sunday morning. So just tell us a little bit more about what you think about the first month of the Montreal.
Well, Coach, I think we've talked about it on Habs Brunch quite a bit. It's a surprising start to the season. The results are a little bit misleading, I would say. I think overall it's been probably what I would give it a A+ in terms of entertainment value. If this season is all about progression, then I think we're starting to see that. I love the press conference from Martin Saint-Louis today, talking about just how he is still focused on progression. And he is a bit testy today. Did you see his press conference today? He got a little mad at the press today too. It was pretty great. But so I think it's been fun to watch. But the results are a bit misleading. What's surprising is the quality of opponent that they've played. Not just the quality of the players, but the weight of the players. Right? They were playing some really heavy teams that I think any analyst would have predicted it would be very hard for that really young D-core to manage with all the heavy teams they played, like Minnesota, St. Louis. So I think it's been a pretty surprising result. But like we've been talking about, the underlying numbers are still pretty problematic, right? In terms of high danger chances, in terms of defensive zone turnovers. If you look at the analytics, Savard, I think just with the eye test has looked, and everybody will say he's leading the league in block shots. But what does that mean when you're leading the league in block shots? It means that you're in your zone a lot and you're probably circling around, not be able to get the puck out too, right? So I think Savard's had a valiant effort here, like working with Gouli. And if you look at their analytics, I think Jay Fresh even recently was saying, man, these guys are getting caved in, but they're playing really high-end opponents as well. So you have to look at who they're playing against. So I think, the goaltending has been way above expectation, really masking some of those problems as well. I think, there's a lot of positives to take. We've had our debates about Slavkovsky here throughout the beginning of the season. I like his progression. I like how they've handled him compared to, say, how Seattle's been handling Shane Wright. I think, they're doing the right thing with him.
Are you still there? Unless you know you talk until the last minute. No, I don't know. We don't hear you. No, yeah, no, we lost. Okay, no problem. So Lesson King is 4-0, guys. At this moment, he was talking about the Montreal Canadiens. I just want to continue with this. He was right about this one. By the way, Carolina is a 2-1. Oh, that pass right there on the back door. We see Marco is back. Here we go.
Sorry about that, Coach. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You almost said
My
until
headset
to the end
just died.
your story about Montreal. We only lost the last 20 seconds. 4-0 the Kings over the Blues, by the way.
Wow. Crazy. Yeah, I was watching that in the background. Yeah, just to say again, like I think the goaltending has just been, really kind of masking a lot of the problems, but some really nice progress. We talked about Slavkovsky, like his progression. I think they've been handling them very well. I like how they've been managing a situation compared to how Seattle is maybe managing the right situation. I think all of us are just scratching our heads what they're doing over there. But seeing, like a lot of us know, right? Like teams chemistry works a lot around duos, right? So we've always had our Caulfield and Suzuki duo. Now it's finding these other duos throughout the lineup and then seeing what works. Really interesting development today with Dadonov, coach. There's a report that he was talking to Kent Hughes after being scratched in the game. Like there are some reporters and that's why they were asking St. Louis a bunch of questions about him, and maybe why St. Louis was a bit sensitive. So I don't know if there's something that's going to be happening with Dadonov here. Like I don't know if they could find a place for him. I think of a place like Washington, right? Like they just lost Oshie. They have a lot of other injuries. I wonder if with the salary retained, if that might be a good spot for Dadonov to join that Russian country club over there. It might be a good spot for him. They definitely need the help. They're still all in this season. Like they don't have a long window, so they might be willing. They're not going to get a huge, like a top end pick or anything, but maybe we can get something in return there. But something cooking, I think, with Dadonov. So we'll see.
It's like anybody else. If the people asking me all the time that why Drouin, what Dadonov, what Hoffman, but if you don't put the right share, there's no work.
I think they gave him his opportunities. Like they gave him his opportunities on
Dadonov
that
never
line.
play first line. Hoffman play only one game first line, top player there. My point is like if you use their skill, but you don't use them, like Dadonov is one of the best top 20 best player in the power play in NHL the last 3 years as a bumper. We use him on PK. So I don't want to be negative. I just want to say to you, like, you don't give the best of the tools of what they want to produce. So he didn't start on the right foot. He got traded for a salary cap problem. And again, I think they was just trying to use that kind of trade to maybe get something in return trade deadline. And they have an extra players right there. So that's the one they have to fix it for sure. I'm going to bring an Artab, just knock the door. So let's see what he is right now. Right there, right now. Oh, and Artab.
Hello, coach.
It's just like have a tough night, Mr. Artab, from Elvis Presley to wow. What happening there?
Oh, my goodness. I was just watching the LA and St. Louis game, and I tell you, it's starting to age me.
I feel like you are a hard time at the jail right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a tough stay. Yeah.
It sounds like that. You look like somebody who's been working on the defensive zone coverage for the Toronto Maple Leafs for the last couple of weeks.
Just call me Shanahan.
About that. So we're just talking about Montreal Canadiens in our tap, and maybe bring, like we just talked about Hoffman, Dadonov, everything like that. We know today, like Marco said, Martin St. Louis that not lose his patience, but he was like, okay, stop asking me about the same situation. He was on a treatment today. It's rare you get a treatment when you are healthy scratch the next day, honestly. But I don't know. What do you feel like what happening with Dadonov with the Montreal Canadiens?
Yeah, you know what, Coach? I think it's more of a reaction to the fact that there was some speculation out of Washington today that because Oshie's out for the long term, that they were looking at the possibility of trying to pick up Dadonov from Montreal. And we all know that Washington loves their Russian players. So there is some meat to this. And probably they were just trying to entice St. Louis to give out more information than he was letting on. But I wouldn't put too much stock into that at this point.
Well, I think it's starting to become an issue. Like, we've been talking about since the summer, that at some point it's good. The veterans are going to be pros for a period of time. And, like you saw DeWayne today, it was all smiles, trying to be positive. And the team's winning. The team's playing okay right now. But at some point, it's going to spill over, right? And I think it's just a matter of time here. I don't think Slafkovsky is going anywhere, to be honest. If that was one move that people thought they were going to do to try to, I don't think that's going to happen. Armia, by the way, like I think Martin St. Louis just loves Armia. Like you can see his eyes light up when he talks about Armia,
for sure.
But I don't know. They need to do something. I don't think that's I don't think that there's much of a choice here. They have to move out someone. Dadonov, like coach is saying, teams haven't forgotten how well he performed at the end of last season for Vegas when they were really fighting to get in. I think Dadonov has a much better reputation around the league than a Jonathan Drouin or Mike Hoffman or something like that. So listen, like we've talked about this before, right? These conflicting priorities that they have, right? Which is developing the winning culture and the kids, but at the same time, giving enough ice time to these veterans that they want to shop around. So at one point or another, you have to kind of make the calculation of, okay, so do I hold on to Dadonov a bit longer, build up his value a bit more? Okay, maybe that can happen, but what is the cost? The cost to the chemistry and the mood in the dressing room, the cost of minutes that you could be giving to another player to really be testing out combinations that have a real shot of actually amounting to something in the future. So is the cost of a second round pick versus a fifth round pick you can get in November worth it? I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting question. That's the conflicting realities that they have right now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We want to welcome a couple of people just show up. The Los King take the lead 5-0 against the St. Louis Blues. The King all over them. Good. Danny T is in the house. Chicago Bear Under Gamer 2008. Joseph Phillips joined us. Robert Austin is under Gamer now 2008, which is mentioned, but there's Dawson Gamer 2010. All of the family are inside of the family tonight. Thanks so much. And our friend of the New Calendars, the THG Week, he's in the house with us tonight. I'm sure he said he's not sure if you look like Lou Lamariello or Jacques Lemaire, Mr. but
maybe a mix.
Yeah, so that's what we got. Of course, 5-1 for the Kings right now, Randy said. And RJ gave us some information about this. It would be out for the lineup of 4 to 6 months for Jimmy Trestle from RJ. So sorry about that on the top, but I just want to share it with you guys. That information just coming up. A breaking news about this. 7 minutes, less than 8 minutes to go remaining. Carolina 2 and the Capitals 2. I don't know the game at Buffalo. Last time I checked, it was 4-2.
4-3 Buffalo.
4-3 now Buffalo. So
5-3.
5-3 now. 5-3. There we go. And look at Wu from British Columbia in the house. Welcome aboard. And Mr. Dixon Automotive Group is in the house tonight. Thanks so much, Dixon. To be with us.
Dixon. I love your comment, Dixon.
And I'm going to be wrong, Mr. Nartar, about the Kings versus the Blues. But I was right on Tage Thompson, Mr. Nartar. I said he's going to produce a very great night tonight. About
so
this.
Good,
so, we talk about the bilan for the Montreal. We talk about different player, extra player forward, and everything like that. But I want you to bring a little bit more about I think the defensive, where we thought was going to be a problem in the first month for the Montreal Canadiens. The goaltending, Marco just mentioned about Jake Allen and Montembeault. I think they are the goal above is about +7 or +8 at this area. I did not check today the last update. But my point to you is maybe like open up, the rookies for the Montreal Canadiens, and then they have like 7 under 23 years old. We know what Caulfield is key, but maybe talking about the other rookies they got for the upcoming season, for the beginning of the season. Both of you maybe talk a little bit more about them.
Go ahead,
I'll
Undertale.
go first. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it is a bit of a surprise that we thought our greater area of concern was going to be our defense because of the number of young prospects that were going to more than likely remain with the team this year. And this is all with Baron going down to Laval, right? But we had some injuries along the way, Matheson and of course Edmondson. So it opened up the door for these guys to come in and just sort of show what they had. And I'm glad that they've taken St. Louis' advice to heart, and that is, that they have to be themselves. Don't be afraid to take chances when they present themselves to you. You can't play defensive all the time. It's very encouraging to see that our young defense is progressing at the pace that it is. Now, again, a small sample size, of course, but you know what? When you see talent, talent, and these guys are talented. And are they going to make mistakes? Continue to make mistakes? Absolutely. But I think the greatest thing is the fact that they're developing together, and that's very important for our future.
Marco?
Yeah, I think So listen, like it's clear that was the point that we're all looking at for sure during the summer leading into the season, that this decor was going to get challenged. But again, to be honest, if the goaltending was average, we might be having a different conversation about how that's working out, to be honest. So there's a, I think again, like the goaltending is very much distorting kind of the results here. But you can't help but be impressed with how well Harris has been, just stayed consistent. That pairing with Kovacevic has been pretty impressive. Their underlying numbers are actually quite good. They aren't playing against, the team's top line or anything, but, they're still playing against probably the second line and doing really well. So I think it's been a pleasant surprise. You can't talk about the first month of the season without, praising Jack-Eye. He's for sure been the breakout story in terms of star power and everything that he's brought. Again, purely from an excitement and entertainment point of view, this first month is off the charts. If we could have this level of play throughout the year, and if the results start to diminish a little bit, but they keep up the hard work, their ability to kind of stay in games, their ability to, and if the goaltending keeps games close, then I think we're going to have a great and fun season to watch, guys. For those who are really hoping for that hardcore tank, it's probably a bit of a frightening month. If you're really hoping to be in that low bottom 5, but don't despair. I think we'll end up there but it'll be very organic. Let's not forget, we haven't even really entered the real season yet. These guys are, the real NHL players are just getting warmed up. I see that, we have Ellen Keefe in the chat. I've seen her on Twitter. She's very, very a big Mike Hoffman fan. So I'm sure I just want to mention that. I know she's very supportive of Mike Hoffman. So I just want to give a shout out to Hélène. Yeah, so great performance by the defenseman, but don't let the results fool you. It's not as tight as it might appear for so far.
Yeah, I think you have to be realistic behind that one over there. Well, Montreal most, hey, thank you so much to be another subscriber. I think behind that, guys, is about like like I think for the words you said, that more fun to watch, more excited to watch. They compete every game. The work ethic or is there compared for last season, and I think for me, like because when you evaluate Harris, Jacky, and Gole, they are three fun players. They are not the same level. That Jacky bring more the physicality of the game, right? And then Arias is more about the smooth skater he is with the transition of puck most. And then Cody bring a little bit the balance. He can be physical at home. He can score goal. He can skating with the puck too. But I think that's the beauty of what Montreal has right now. It's three fun rookie, three fun performance they bring on the table at fun level. Like one game, one was off, the two other was better. The next game, when one was off, the two other was better. And then you have the guy we never mentioned is Kovacevic, only 25 years old, play only like 17, 19 goal in a game in NHL, and he did pretty good most of the time. Although the fact he gave a bad goal, that's happening sometime in the hockey. You're going to make mistake again, Minnesota Wild. But I think for Montreal, like the first month for me, it's more about excitement. It's fun to watch. You there, whatever they losing, they never give up. They come back a couple of games this season, and they beat some fun team. Not their schedule was not like the most easier schedule of the season at the beginning. You know, you have Pittsburgh, you have Minnesota, Detroit, Washington. You have an EV team overall, so pretty good. Again, like you said,
imagine if we had the Leaf schedule.
Yeah, but again, that's for me. It's more about the balance of the goaltender make maybe. But at the end of the day, because if you think about this, I make a couple of number yesterday, but 5 W per. Because when you go as a coach, you put your season on 8 different time. So every 10 W game, how many game? So if they gain 8 times 5, that's give them 40 W. That's bring almost over 80 points and possibly 85 with the tie or lose the game left and right. That's too many for this. So if they can carry on about 3.5 W per tranche of the 10 game at 4, I think that would be a good season in my eyes, because you can see possibly now Caden Coley have a difficult game against the last game against St. Louis Blues. He got hit a lot, and he played better what we expect. But he's not going to carry on a season at 25 minutes, 23 minutes per game for the rest of the season. We need now the Edmondson back. We need Madison back to give a little bit more for the 2 other defensemen, 3 other defensemen, better time management and the controlling the progression that we said to you during the season for them. And then finally, we want to hear from you guys what you think about Juraj Slavkovsky since the beginning of the season.
I'll go first on this one. I've been pretty impressed, right? Like with his progression. Really like Martin St. Louis' press conference today. I think the quote that really stood out is, at 18 years old, how much does this guy really know about hockey? It's not just about the physical skills that you bring to the ice, but it's also really understanding the game. And, I think some of us who were hoping that he'd play a bit higher in the lineup, not full time, right? But just at specific times in the game, just give him a little taste here and there. At our tap, we were talking about this on Habs Brunch, right? So let's say you have Doc on the first line and he's just not having it, or he's just not having a good game, and it's a third period, you're down by goal, you have an offensive zone faceoff, why not put Slavkovsky up there with Suzuki and Caulfield for a shift or two just to see what happens, right? So I think that's kind of what we're going to see moving forward here. Like, they've been slowly building his game. I love that they gave him the power play time. He was so excited to get power play time that he texted his entire family and friends. So it looks like Slavkovsky is very coachable, which is a really critical thing for a first-round pick. You wonder if maybe that's an issue with Shane Wright. Maybe he's just not as coachable. And Dave Hackstall's most recent quote on that was he's working on a lot of things off the ice. I don't know what that means, but I think Slavkovsky has shown that really good slow progression. and I think they've managed it really well. They're probably a little bit more conservative than I would have been, but hey, it's working. I'm glad that that they're giving him a chance, and I think they'll continue to do that. I've been since the summer. I've said I think he'll be there the whole season. Not impossible that he goes down for a little set of games at some point, maybe more towards the middle of the season. Remember how Kotkaniemi had a pretty good first half in his first season, but then kind of hit a wall. So to me, I think it's just as beneficial for Slafkovsky to play 60 games in the NHL this year, 10, 12 minutes a game, rather than playing 70 or 80 in the AHL, just because of the quality of play. So, I think that's fine to have a first North American season, 82-game season. I wasn't expecting he was going to play the full 82, but listen, I like how they're managing it. I love the guy. I wasn't part of this community during the summer leading up to the draft, but I was a big Slafkovsky supporter all the way through. I watched him in the World Championships, and so my dreams are coming true watching him play, and it's pretty exciting so far.
Awesome. And after, before we start, you talk, John Grega is in the house. Welcome aboard. Randy and Rudolph, William Snyder. William Snyder, we're going to see you at the end of the show for the French quiz. You won the last time with Roger Delaney. And a question for Enartap about Randy. He asked you about, do you believe he's going to stay with the big club? The 9 game is knocking the door about this one over there. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think in his last 3 or 4 opportunities that he's had, he's definitely shown that there's some growth going on. I love the fact that he's very coachable. And you know what? When you have somebody like Martin St. Louis who commands the room so well, these kids are looking up to him. They know what he's all about. They know he's been through this. They've seen what his struggles were as a player coming up through the league and what he's accomplished. And they're willing to listen. And as long as you have that, and he's treating them all fairly by saying, you know what, earn your time. If you do the right things out there, you're going to get more ice time. And that's exactly what Slafkovsky's been doing. And it's paying off so far. Like, I think we have to put the brakes on a little bit and not expect that this guy's going to come out and start putting in, 30, 40 points this year. We just want to see improvement from game to game. And the points will come. The points will come because he'll learn opportunities to be on the power play. He'll learn opportunities, as Marco said, to play on the first line from time to time. And it will definitely pay off in spades down the road.
So how can Martin St. Louis not listen to a wise man that looks like he's from the movie The Dark Crystal? Like,
Go ahead. Get it all out of your system.
Do you like that movie, The Dark Crystal? You kind of look like one of the creatures from the... Yeah, that's a good one.
We want to welcome back Mr. Nicolas de Gouby-Bonneau and Luc directly from right there. And look like the Buffalo won by the score 8-3 against the Detroit Red Wings.
Wow.
Woo!
Wow. This is a really strange. It's still 2-2 at the end of the third period, guys. For the power play for Carolina, but they cannot score. And so far, so it's still 2-2. Quimper have an amazing, great game tonight for the Washington Capitals. So,
Coach, you're not going to give Enartap and I like at least a minute to talk about the Leafs? Come on.
We want to bring Randy Walkman. If Randy is in the house, that'd be great to hear that. I think you guys, you could be a little bit too much negative about the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm a little bit concerned about you guys about that one over there. So wait for Randy to join us. We're going to finish with that one over there. Just try to get something else. And then for finishing, until Randy knocked the door, Randy, you should have the link to join us. We're going to open up the line here after that. But what you expect for the month now? We know Montreal is going to be in Minnesota tomorrow night, Winnipeg, and then after that they get the Vegas Golden Knight. And then what your expectation for the team? But of course, what do you think they're going to do? Are they going to make a trade? Are they going to, because they cannot play? And Montreal's knocked the door. Madison is knocked the door. By the way, McEnroy return with the Boston Bruins the next 7 days.
It's crazy, yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think this next month, we talked about this week. I think it's going to be a really tough week. Some really tough matchups coming up. I think they go 1-for-3 maybe this week. But projecting over the month of November, like I said, I project that a lot of these teams are really going to hit that other gear here soon. There's so much parity in the league right now, right? Nobody's other than Boston and Vegas has really kind of separated out from the rest of the pack. So you're going to see some of these teams that are really have aspirations for this year are really going to start to bear down, and we'll see how Montreal reacts to that. It's a great test. Like that's what this season is all about, right? Like they're going to have some downturns when they get these tests, but it's all about getting that experience. I'll be really watching to see if Caulfield and Suzuki can continue to produce on the road. That's going to be really important to see if they can maintain that. And yeah, just like we talked about on Habs Brunch, right? Like there are certain players that we're really kind of wanting to build around. So you're talking about Suzuki, Caulfield, Doc, players like that, right? So let's keep monitoring the players that are going to be here long term, and hope that they continue to perform well. And let's try to keep our expectations level, guys. It's right now have over 500 record, but I don't think that's going to maintain here through November.
Renata?
It's all about development, Coach. The record, let's ignore it. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's a bonus. But at the end of the day, it's about developing these prospects the proper way and making sure that they maximize their opportunity to succeed with the team. Hey, Randy, how are you?
Hey,
good.
Randy.
How about you guys?
Fantastic.
Good,
Can you hear me?
all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
Okay,
hear
good.
you very well about that one over there. First of all, Wendy, we bring you in the chat like, you follow the West, the Pacific Division. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. And then, like everybody's excited to know more about the Toronto Maple Leafs and everything like that. So we'd be curious about what you think about the situation with the Toronto Maple Leafs since the beginning of the season. We're going to do maybe a bilan of the Toronto Maple Leafs and what is coming from them and what you feel about everything happening in Anaheim, everything. So we're going to do a round table. I'm going to start with Randy, and then we'll go with Marco and then Inata.
Well, in a nutshell, the Maple Leafs, every single game, I don't know if you three have noticed it, but every single game they are making 3 mistakes, at least. Every single game, there's at least 3 mistakes in the defensive zone and lousy defensive coverage. And frankly, they don't have the goaltending that's good enough to make up for those mistakes. I mean, I'm not blaming their goaltending. The goaltending is okay, but that's all it is. It's not good. It's not good. You know what I mean? It's not the goaltending that they need. In order for them to survive, they need excellent goaltending, and they haven't gotten that this year so far.
Yeah, absolutely right about this one. We're going to, before we continue, we welcome everybody here. A couple of people just show up. We have Real Deal Prim in the house. Hunter for the Buffalo Sabres. Big fans right there. Time to kick out a notch about this. And then we try to get DANY. Donny Brasco is in the house. Welcome aboard. And then we have another person I forgot a little bit earlier. I apologize, but anyhow. So that's what we got so far. Thanks, everybody, to be up on the show. Don't forget to click on the likes. And Marco.
Yeah, I've been watching this team pretty closely since the beginning of the year. Toronto's the team I follow the closest, probably after Montreal. And, you're hearing some people say, well, don't worry, they had a rough start last year. It's true. They have almost the same exact record. But for those of us who watched both teams, it's not the same. It's there's a lot. Yeah, there's a pretty big problem here. Like Randy, I don't know if I agree if it's the goaltending. For the most part, Samsonov has been pretty good. Shalgren, listen, like he's an AHL goalie. He kept him in the game in that second period against Anaheim. Like he stood on his head during that second period, to be honest.
Yeah.
What's
Well, what? Go ahead. I interrupted you.
no, it's okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I said what I mean is the goaltending is adequate. They need at this rate they need the goalies to be near perfect, and that's the problem. You're right. I put it the wrong wording. You're absolutely right. They need the goaltending to be perfect, Marco.
Yeah,
and it can't.
But if you look at them over the last couple of years, like they're not a bad defensive team. Like their goals against are pretty good. It's just they don't get up for these gimme games against these lower teams. Like they really have problems getting up for those games, and really it's little turnovers from from their key players like Marner. I think that was probably the story of the night last night, is those 2 turnovers that Marner did that directly resulted in the game turning around and 2 goals directly. And then he leaves the bench, breaks a stick. They bench him for a couple shifts. And then for some reason or another, Sheldon Keefe, once they tied the Anaheim tied, he decides to put him back out there. Like, I don't know if Sheldon Keefe has a good, grasp on the situation here, guys. Like there's a lot of panicky signals coming from this guy. So I'd be really nervous as a Leafs fan on how he's able to manage the situation. Like, I know when Babcock was there, they brought in somebody to be more of a player's coach, but maybe the pendulum has swung too much the other way, right? Like, so you have a very strict coach, and then whoops, the pendulum goes all the way the other way. And now you have like a bit of a country club, and Marner's so last thing I want to say, to me, the thing that hasn't changed is how this team is constructed, right? Like at the end of the day, here's a very interesting question. I was bringing this up in the chat yesterday as a joke, but I want you to really think about this. How many players on the Leafs can you think of play mean? How many of them have you ever seen get mad during a game other than Wayne Simmons?
Other than Wayne Simmons.
Yeah, other than Wayne Simmons. And Clifford. But so this reminds me, guys, of the Ottawa Senators in the early 2000s, right? Like, probably one of the best teams to never win anything. Is Toronto going to be the best team ever to never win anything? Just because of how they're constructed. They have all the similar types of players. If it's surprising that they didn't go for like a Matthew Tkachuk in their top 6 or something like that. That's what they need, right? Why didn't they sign Marchment? Why didn't they go for a player like that? To me, it's a roster construction problem, and until that changes, things are just going to continue the same.
The only name that comes to my mind that I've seen play angry is Kerfoot, and he's the only one, Mark. Yeah, I've seen him play.
Really?
Well, not angry. He can stick up for himself. He's done that before. He did it more in Colorado. Toronto.
I wouldn't be very intimidated by Kerfoot during a playoff series.
Well, neither would I. And that's the problem in the nutshell. The problem in the nutshell is I'm afraid if Marner got smacked in the boards, who would defend him?
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, guys. And I love the Maple Leafs. I love my Maple Leafs, and everyone knows. But they got we're a bunch of soft pillows on our hockey team.
It's not just about fighting, right?
No. I'm not talking about fighting. We need fighting. We need people that stick up for our big guns.
Right.
We need people that show some kind of heart. There's no heart.
There's no heart. Nothing. Toronto is the nicest hockey team in the NHL. They're really nice guys.
Yep. And that's what Calgary was.
They win the Lady Byng every year kind of trophy, right?
And after
that, 2 things I want to bring up. Number one, I disagree. I don't think that the defense is nearly as good as it needs to be. For this team to go on, they have to address that defensive core. They keep putting Band-Aids on the problem, and the same result keeps happening. They have right now, I would say, with the exception of Riley, they have a group of defensemen that are classified anywhere between a 3, 4, 5, 6 defensemen. They don't really have a true 1 or 2. Well, maybe Riley's a 2, but you can see that they're overusing Riley. He gets tired. He makes mistakes. He's not the greatest of skaters. He's a good skater, but he's not the greatest. We saw on a couple different opportunities yesterday, he got undressed, especially by Zegras yesterday. And they really have to address that. They're not physical enough in front of the goalies. They're not clearing out the pucks. And there's a discontinuity between the defense and the offense. There's no transition there. Nobody can bring that puck up the ice. Nobody on that team.
You know who the Leafs could use?
No.
They could use Edmondson. Edmondson would be the perfect fit there. Like meanness, get some meanness in their decor. That would be a great guy for them.
Possibly. And the other thing is, I think personally, from what I've observed over the last 3 games, I think Dubas has lost the team, and I saw it in. I've seen it in 2 different instances yesterday. After that couple bad plays that Marner made, along comes Keefe. He puts him on the bench for 1 shift. As soon as it became 3-2, oh, we need you, Marner. Come back. You learned your lesson. And you can't do that. Either you send a definite message so that they understand what's going on. Otherwise, they're going to take him as a joke. The other thing is he calls a timeout, and I don't know if you guys noticed on the bench, the 5 people that were on the ice, one of them was looking at what Keefe was doing on that whiteboard. So nobody spells he's lost the room. And so I think if this continues, you can't avoid it. You have to fire Dubas.
Dubas or Keefe? Dubas or Keefe?
Sorry. Keefe. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry, I apologize.
So just to be clear, I don't disagree with you that their defense needs to improve, but what I was saying by their overall defensive play, if you look over the last couple of years, they're actually a pretty decent defensive club, right? But you're right. Like since the beginning of the season here, with some of the injuries they have on the back end, they've identified that they're having huge issues getting the puck up to their forwards, like crisp outlet passes to their D, and that's with the forwards you have in Toronto. That's what you need, right? You just want to get out of your zone as quickly as possible. Just get the puck on Matthews or Marner's stick and go, right? And that's been an issue. So for sure, like if they definitely could improve that by getting another top 4 D-man. But even further than that, like I was saying, it's the construction of the team overall, even the forward group. Look at their third line. Like why would they go out and get somebody like Malgin or Yarncroke? Like they're good players, right? But it just doesn't really give them the elements that they were missing before. I guess they were hoping that Obey Kubel and a guy like that would come in and be a little bit more physical and kind of a little bit meaner. But that's what they need, guys. They can't have it on their fourth line. They need to be on the ice and be able to play. Like imagine what Jack-Eye would look like in Toronto. That's the kind of guy that they need in Toronto, right? Like just to bring some attitude, and just some anger, some dirt into this thing. It's too clean.
Super chat.
And
yeah, it's too pretty. They're too pretty, too clean, too pretty, too fancy.
What the main problem with this team in a nutshell is everybody knows where the best line in the NHL was last year. It was in Calgary. And you know why they were the best line? Because they had the playmaker, they had the sniper, and they had the grit. That was Tkachuk, Lindholm, and Goodrow. Toronto does not have a grit player that has nothing. They can play in the top 6. Simmons is totally grit. But how much offensive skill does he have?
Yeah, he
can't keep up with Marner and Matthews. What's he going to do? And that's a problem.
Let's try to come up with what's a list of players that Toronto should target, and who should they trade? Right, like so. you have the typical conversation. Okay, so out of that core, okay, so let's say you decide to trade Nylander or Kerfoot, right? Because those are kind of your expendable pieces. You're not going to trade Marner. You're not going to trade Matthews. Bunting is at a low number, things like that, right? So you got Nylander and maybe Kerfoot. Who is like a top 6 rough left or right winger that could come in and help this team that is available?
I don't think so. You're talking for the forward. You have to figure out your defenseman.
Yeah, but you can do both.
But you cannot get a top prospect and return for that one over there. So you have to look about a check run over there. You can get a check run for Arizona for that one over there to the left defenseman.
I don't think they can afford it. I don't think they have the assets to make that move.
Chychrun's not physical enough in my eyes. You see, this summer, why didn't go after? I know
again, you don't need to be physical. I don't know what you do. You guys, you talk about meanness. You talk about physical. I think there's not what they have right now. They cannot. They make turnover and defensive zone. Justin Hall is not a good defenseman. They lost Marzin over there. They have only Brody and O'Reilly. If you put like a guy with physical, you don't have nobody as a top 3 or 4. How many defensemen are really good on the physical you're talking about? You can get
maybe
right
I'm
now.
I'm not making it clear, and you're mistaking it for a bunch of goons that fight or something. What I'm saying is they didn't have what Montreal had in that long run. They didn't have 4 stallions like Edmondson, Weber, Sherratt, then who was the 4th one there? Just escapes my mind now. Yeah. So like those guys, yeah, exactly. And those guys, they didn't have to be tough in the sense that they fought anybody, but they did their job and they cleared anybody that was standing in front of the net. They cleared the puck, and that's what the Leafs are sorely lacking.
I think Edmondson would be a perfect fit there, honestly. In the top 4,
he would be a perfect fit.
Sherratt would have been great. I know he wanted too much money this summer, but he would have been great for Toronto.
Let's talk here about something here. And I think we have a couple of people. So Alan Vanco said, don't worry, Toronto will definitely make the playoff, just a slow start. So let's see. Hold on here. Yeah. All right. The next one said, Alan, I agree. This conversation should be revised a month from now. So now Toronto play Philadelphia Wednesday night. It's going to be an easy game or not easy game?
Nothing is easy.
All right. Saturday night they play Boston Bruins. Easy game or not easy game?
Not
Sunday
easy.
they play the Carolina Hurricanes. Easy game or is not easy game? Tuesday they play the Vegas Golden Knights. So we talk about 4 games. If they lose all 4, now they're going to be 4-9-1, and the division where last season, guys, they win it was easy to start, very badly to come back because you have 4 bad teams in the division. You have Detroit, Buffalo, Ottawa, Montreal. And now if you play against them this season, do you believe you can beat all of them like you did last season? Not allowed. So if you start bad way like they are doing right now and you expect, it's going to be fine, I don't think so. I think they're going to be a really difficult time right now to go back. Yes, they'll be a playoff team. But the way they play right now, I don't think they have to, the red flag over there. I just want to bring this because you said, it's going to be fine. The way they play right now, I don't think so they'll be fine. I think, I don't see, they have a lot of problem over there.
Last year, after they had their tough start, they went 15-2 after the tough start. There's no way they're going to do that again. No way.
No. The answer to your question about a defenseman, guys, that everybody's overlooked, is the one in Calgary. Shillington. As soon as he gets healthy, we're going to have 8 good defensemen. And so Calgary is going to be the one that they should talk to. Whether they will, I don't know.
I love that one over there. Oh, this will open up the door here. That will help in the Flame when you get a Nylander as a right winger over there.
I don't like that.
We can't fit Nylander in. I don't know how Calgary could fit Nylander in.
I don't like that fit. Like, to me, like
money wise,
you have Sandin. How is Sandin and Killington that different? Like, to me, like, you're not that far ahead. Like, again, you need the thing that they're right now is Muzzin, right?
Right. Shillington had 45 points last year, including 10 goals.
Yeah.
And he was our
But
best defensive defenseman.
Toronto need more offensive production? No, like they need somebody who can make a good first pass. That's what I'm saying. Like
No,
Toronto just keeps collecting offensive players like it's Lord of the Rings, right? Like they have to collect each offensive player that exists in the world. You need a better mix of players, right?
no, but Shillington was our best defensive defenseman we had on our team last year.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Look at his
He was
stats.
solid.
He was. He was. If you look at his stats, Marco, I'm telling you,
he was playing with Tanev. Or no,
Yes.
who was he playing with last year?
About
he was
4.
playing with Tanev and Zadorov and all over. The guy was a solid penalty killer. And he's probably going to be the fastest. He's the fastest skater on that Toronto defense. He'd be a number 3 man on that Toronto defense. And he's $2.5 million.
Listen, I like Killington. I'm not saying he's not a good defenseman. It's just, again, like, I get it. If you need to, for me right now, if Muzzin was healthy and if Liljegren was healthy, I think Toronto's defense is okay. It's okay. It's not the best in the league. To me, the biggest problem, though, is
the problem I have with Muzzin. The problem I have with Muzzin is that he is never healthy. In a nutshell, he's never healthy, and that's
he's lost a step as well.
Yeah, and he's slow, and and even when he was healthy, he'd make these silly passes in front of from one end to the other end, and it'd end up being in our net half the time.
I think you guys have recency bias with Muzzin. Like, if you guys look at the last 2 playoff years, the exact moment where the Leafs season went to crap was when Muzzin got hurt. So I agree it's a concern that Muzzin is not staying healthy. But what that means is you need to go get a player like Muzzin who brings that presence, like a Joel Edmondson, like a good solid top 4 defenseman who can move the puck out, make a nice first pass. You're not looking for offensive production from him. Somebody who's going to kill penalties, kill people in front of the net if they get close to your net, intimidate their opponents, make it hard to play against the Leafs. It's not hard to play against the Leafs. Yeah. Killington is not going to make your team harder to play against at all.
Yeah, but it's not. It's easy to say that, but
that.
which player you talking about? How they can make a trade like that?
Exactly.
Everybody wants to keep those the defensemen. You don't have a lot in it.
I can name 31 other teams that want a defenseman like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I think Edmondson is a good. Like I can I can make a list, but you have an asset like Kerfoot that you can move to get a good left-handed physical defenseman. You throw in something else, like you're gonna have to give to get, right? But to me, the biggest problem with the Leafs, like I said, I compare them to the early 2000 Senators. They just don't have enough grit that can play in the top 6.
Right.
That's the big problem. Defense, like we've seen teams win the cup with, like, look at Pittsburgh, right? Like no superstar defenseman, but just a good solid mix of defensemen. I think that's where Toronto was before they lost Muzzin and Liljegren. They're not a top 10 defense core in the league, but they're in the top end of the league in terms of that core. If you can improve it, great.
In the middle. Yeah, I agree with you. They weren't in the top 10, but they were like 13th or 14th in the league. You're right. Yeah. That's a good description.
So what do you go from there? So a lot of people for the last 24 hours, a lot of fans want to fire Keefe, Zubas, whatever. So my question, all 3 of you, each one of you, have an answer for us. Do you fire the coach? Do you fire the general manager?
Sorry, go ahead, Randy. You go first.
Yeah.
I want to start my conversation of for the last 3 years, what's been the Maple Leafs' greatest need? Defense.
Goaltending and defense.
Yeah, goaltending and defense. And what did we do this season? We did a trade with Murray, and everybody but the kitchen sink knew that Murray would be down within the first 2 weeks with a groin injury. What happened?
Yeah.
Murray's down with the groin injury.
And
You
they did
gotta
the same
blame.
thing the year before
Yep, they did the same thing the year before
with Mrazek. With Mrazek.
with Mrazek. I mean, what kind of exactly? That's to me. Sooner or later, Dubas has to take some blame here. To me, Keith can only work with what he's got, and
I
the
agree.
reason why Keith has lost the room is because of the room that he's been given to him by Dubas. I think you have to look at it.
It's
You have to
also
look at it.
some of his decisions that he's made, though, like that.
Oh yeah,
press conference
he's not off the hook.
He basically threw Matthews under the bus, and then the next day retracted. Like that's a sign of weakness. And right now, the way this team is reacting to Keith reminds me of the way Montreal was reacting to Ducharme last year. And we saw the difference that it made when somebody came in, and we also saw it in Vancouver when Boudreau came in. That if he in order to get the respect, you have to give the respect, and both coaches did exactly that and talked to each and every single player, and got them to produce to the level that they could.
Guys, like here's what I would say is Keith and Dubas are together no matter what. They're going down with the ship. They're like Intertap and coach. Like they're just, attached by the hip. They're going down with the ship together, or they're going to win together. I don't see Dubas getting rid of Keith at all. I don't agree, Randy, necessarily that, Keith, I think, is right there with Dubas. It's all part of their plan. They have a very, very specific vision for how they think. This is an experiment that we're seeing. The Toronto Maple Leafs are an experiment. You ever see the movie Moneyball, the baseball movie, where it's where the guy
one of my most favorite movies
with all the advanced analytics? Well, that's what this is, but it's hockey. That's basically Dubas is Brad Pitt in this scenario, right? So the question is his experiment going to work? So far, it's not. There's a lot of great positive results. Like if you look at Keith's regular season record, it's unreal. Like holy cow, it's just really, really impressive. So I don't see them doing anything unless they lose like another 8 in a row or something here. It's going to take a lot for Dubas to move away from him, right? So
they really have to hit. They have to hit rock bottom in order to do that. The other thing is, while I agree that they're a package deal, I think it's easier to try to get a coach right now than it is to get a coach and a GM, unless it's somebody willing to do both. Now, the only thing I would add to this whole equation, if right now you have a coach out there, and I'm referring to Barry Trotz, that is available. And so if at any point this ship starts to go down any further, why you wouldn't consider going after him right now is beyond me. Because
he wants to be a GM too. He doesn't want to just be.
Even if he wants to be a GM, give it to him. Give it to him. Absolutely.
No way. Toronto won't do that. Well, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong or not. I would do it too, but I'm with Marco. I just don't unless Shanahan gets off his butt. This is not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen nothing will happen within the next month. I guarantee. I'd be shocked if something happens within the next month.
So we have a couple of questions for Alan and for William. For both of them said, why to be worried they're going to make the playoff? So what do you believe they're going to make the playoff or not?
Yeah, for sure they will. But if that's the only consideration, then again, this season wasn't supposed to just be about making the playoffs.
Exactly right.
We're confident. Everybody knows they're going to make the playoffs, but that's not what this season is supposed to be about, right?
Exactly.
So what do you think about this, Randy? They make the playoff or not?
They're going to make the playoffs and get kicked out in the first round.
And after that, they make the playoff or not?
Yes, they do make the playoffs. I don't think that's the issue here. It's as Randy said. It's who do they match up with in that first round, and can they get out of that first round again?
Yeah. Here's another point here for William, and this is not the first time. This season is only 10 games. So after 10 games, he feel, William, don't be worried. It'll be fine. Vancouver, do you think right now they are worried or not? All the team have a very bad start. Do you believe they are all coming back when the parity and NHL is so tight right now? Look what's happening tonight. The St. Louis Blues. Are you worried about the St. Louis Blues right now? They lost their 5 last game. If you cannot behind, if you are too much behind, it will be hard to catch up everybody. The parity in NHL is so hard this season, like at the point where it's like, it's not big deal 10 game. It is, because it's not easy to catch up. It's not the easy one right now. How many games they would take to catch up Boston Bruins right now? Possibly Boston Bruins win a playoff spot after the first month of the October.
Almost. At this rate, they might.
So yeah, like the energy that you're going to have to expend, really chasing after it to make up that lost ground. This was supposed to be a season where the Leafs, the season is just really a preseason getting ready for the playoffs. And maybe that's kind of really got into their head, right? Like everybody during the summer, okay, well, the season doesn't matter this year. It's all about the playoffs. Well, guess what? You still need to make the playoffs. I think they will make the playoffs. Yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs, but again, what kind of energy are you going to burn to make up that deficit? Are you going to overplay your injury-prone goalie, Samsonov? Because again, I was on a whole bunch of Leaf streams today, listening to people, and they're questioning why did they play Shalgren in a need must-win game against Anaheim? Well, again, you can't ride Samsonov for 8 games in a row because he's injury-prone as well too, right? And you've already got Murray out, right? So I agree, Coach. It's going to be tough. Like they need to really turn around in this tough stretch of games with the teams that you just mentioned. Like they're going to have to go on a bit of a run here to kind of catch up. I think they'll do it. Again, they have the horses to do it in the regular season, but again, it's not boding well for what their real goal is, which is to actually win a round. But Dubas is married to his plan. Keith and Dubas are married to their plan. Moneyball, and let's
not forget Shanahan in this equation too.
Yeah,
he's the one that went with Dubas, right?
Is it shocking to you that Shanahan would allow having a team with no Shanahans on it? Wouldn't Shanahan want a Shanahan?
It is ironic.
That's the most ironic thing there is. That's the most ironic thing there is. And
you guys are all right, Coach. You're absolutely right as well. Like if you allow too many teams at this stage to jump ahead of you in the standings, after you're not chasing because of all this parity that's on in the NHL today, and the fact that since the advent of overtime and shootouts, you can get that blessed 1 point for a loss. It's difficult to jump. You might do it with one team, even if you're trailing 4, 5, 6 points. But if you have to jump over 3, 4 teams to get that wild card, it's not happening. We saw it last year with Vancouver. We saw it with Vegas. It's not going to happen.
Guys, what if Samsonov gets hurt tomorrow?
But then we'd be killed.
Yeah, but again, Alan, William talk, it's not big deal. It's fine. It's no worry about this. For me, it's not. We don't put Toronto out of the playoff. We bring some concern. You play against San Jose. You play against Anaheim. You play against Seattle. All those little points you lose at the first 10 game, what you're supposed to be 7-1, and now you play only for less 500. It's a big concern. The way they play is a big concern. Yeah. The way on the defense, how they act is a big concern. They have only one goaltender. It's a big concern. So we're not here to talk about to be negative and say, oh, they're going to make the playoff. For me, it's about the intensity of the team. What kind of intensity? We can blame Kiev. 3 years ago, they put out Mike Babcock because they were thinking it was a problem. Now, 3 years later, we have Shane Sheldon Kiev have the same problem like Babcock he said. They are not ready to play. They don't play 60 minutes. They don't show up at the right time. So maybe it's not the coach. It's maybe a little bit more what's going on inside the locker room. And I think
I
right
think
now,
it
one
is.
person you did not talk today is Jason Spencer. And I think at some point something could happen behind is Jason Spencer. But I want to go that direction. I think they have a problem inside the locker room, and they don't have that kind of culture where they don't get it something from outside. And it's maybe the time. If it doesn't work with whatever they bring Barry Trotz or bring Scotty Bowman, who care? They want to change the Matthews maturity. They don't change Marner reception. They bench Mitch Marner for one shift. For Marner, it was almost the end of the world. Like,
That was a joke.
what was the message for the rest of the players over there? They put Marner for one shift? No, set him for the rest of the team. Send him for the rest of the game. So, guy at the TSN this morning said, yeah, but you want to win the game. Who cares? When the player want to give the best right now?
Exactly.
I
was
think
gonna
back to
prove
that
your
season.
point.
Remember with Tampa, coach, like the year before they won the cup, Kucherov
Yeah.
had like a shit period or whatever, and Cooper just sat him for the rest of the game. And that was kind of one of the huge turning points of their season, that the coach actually had the guts to just sit down Kucherov for the rest of the game. And all of a sudden, that just turned everything around.
Goodrow had one bad shift in the game last year. You know what Sutter did to him? Put him on the fourth line for the rest of the game.
I remember.
He
Did he
had
have
to
to go to the
go
bathroom? Did he have to go for a poop? Did he have to leave the bench to go for a poop mid-game?
No, I don't think so. He had, in all seriousness, Marco, he had 6 minutes of ice time in the whole game.
Great point
And
for
that-
Williams. So the next 10 games are the most critical for the couple this year. Yeah, I think he's absolutely right.
yeah.
I think so.
He's absolutely right.
It takes us to the American Thanksgiving, right? Just about.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's exactly when. Yeah.
Listen, guys, they're a fascinating team to watch. I love watching the Leafs, because they just have so many amazing players. It's just, when they're playing well, they're just such a beautiful team to watch. But it's also fun to watch the Toronto media just squirm when they're not playing well. So
Another point I would talk about, I feel like
Who's the leader?
Marner, Tavares can handle the pressure. Matthews can can handle the pressure. Nylander don't know what's going on anyway, so he's, you know what I mean, like he's just go to game. So oh yeah, that's good. All right, there you go. But Marner struggle with the pressure. Marner cannot handle the situation. He's born in Toronto. He's been there. He heard a lot of voice every single day from outside, inside, everything like that. For him, maybe, I don't know, I'm going to be outlet. Maybe it's a really big disadvantage to be a part of the Toronto and play whatever is a dream, because the situation he heard left and right, the Leaf Nation, everything like that. So the only one is affect is Marner right now.
yeah, I guess, he didn't wear his Leafs pajamas often enough when he was a kid, because Tavares is also from Toronto. That's really the only difference I could think of. But you're right, Coach. Like an interesting stat, actually. If you look at Mitch Marner's minor penalties in the playoffs, he has 8 minor penalties in the playoffs. 7 out of those 8 penalties are puck over glass penalties. What does a puck over glass penalty tell you? Is that you're panicking, that you're nervous.
You're holding the stick
you're
tight.
Panicking, right? Yeah.
You're hearing footsteps behind you.
Yeah.
I want to ask each one of you, the three of you, a question. Where would the Maple Leafs be right now without Tavares and Nylander?
Well, without Tavares, they would still have Kadri. So.
No, I'm talking about.
No, he's talking about the beginning season. I think the best player for them this season is really Tavares.
Yeah, Tavares
it is. It's been, exactly. That's my point. Tavares and Nylander have been the 2 best forwards on our team this year. Without those 2, I'm not sure how many points we would have.
Yeah, a lot of fans are also talking about Kempf. Like, he's probably been one of the more reliable players as well, and they're curious as to why they're not playing Kempf higher in the lineup. They had him as their 3rd line center for most of the year last year. I'm not sure why Keith is just really stubbornly keep putting him on the fourth line and keep trying. Like, I know they got Yarncroke during the summer and stuff like that, but listen, like, Kempf had some really strong minutes for you. He's a great face-off guy, kills penalties, and he has like 5 or 6 points, 3 goals so far this season. So, that's another point of contention with a lot of Leafs fans right now is what's up with Kempf?
It's cap. It's they don't want to put a $2.2 million forward on the fourth line.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
That's my only thought, Marco. To answer, I'm not saying I'm right, but that's the only thought that comes to my mind. It's a money reason. It's the
same amount of money whether they play him on the third or the fourth line.
Exactly right.
It's the same. They're playing Engvall a lot up on the third line. A lot of Leafs fans were laughing at the Canadiens when they drafted Slafkovsky. They were calling him a slightly better Engvall, Slafkovsky. So we'll see how that works out. Hopefully he's a lot better than Engvall. But Engvall has all the skills, right? Like, he's got all the he's kind of like an Armia kind of player, but left-handed shot. He has all the skills. He can skate, he can move, he can shoot. You just wish that he put it all together, Sorry, go ahead.
But again, go back at the same thing, guys. It's about the intensity. At the end of the day, it's an intensity problem major they have, and sometimes he starts from the top and he go all the way down. And I think for me, it's start with Dubas, and then after that, it's go with Keith, and then after that, he go inside the locker room. And I think they overestimate possibly the 4 players together, and they thought with them. So the plan action at the Dubas is really fall apart because he never find a way. It's the same mistake every year. I don't know if you follow them, but I know you follow them. But whatever we did, they change the name. It's the same thing. The name change, but the same culture stay every single year. And until they don't get that kind of I don't know. They work hard. They just don't understand how it takes to win and how it takes to work every single. They only release their power on their skill. And so, you know what? We're going to score one more goal, and that's it. That's all. We don't need to work 60, but if we work 15 minutes, it's going to be enough. It will be fine. We'll be okay. So for me, there's really inside the locker room, and that's the leadership they don't have right now.
The Leafs have been a team that, at least when they've made mistakes, they've relied on their offense to bail them out. And last year worked beautifully. This year it hasn't yet. It could still click. I'm not saying it won't. But if you can't get into tight games or come playoff time and build a lead, let's say even 2-1, and then rely on the fact that you can protect that 1-goal lead, and they really can't, right? You're in trouble. And that's the bottom line. And can you name one person, now that Spezza's out of the lineup because he retired, can you name me one person on the Leaf team that's a leader?
It's a leader.
Yeah. I think that some of them have leader. Like, I think Riley's a decent leader. Like, what you mean is, we've heard the expression, like, a teammate that drags you into the fight, right? So like a Gallagher kind of guy. They don't have a guy like that. Hyman was kind of like that, right? Like, and like, they just don't have that. And that's what I kept saying, guys, is it's the roster construction. All of their players, like, part of the Dubas and Keefe plan, which they sold Shanahan, you're right, and our tap, like, Shanahan has bought into it, is they prioritize skill over everything. Skill is the top thing. They're going to win with skill. And I think most people, like, that are not robots that look at just analytics, they understand that hockey is a game of emotion. It's a game of, sorry to say, intimidation as well. Intimidation plays a huge part of the game, right? Like, at certain key parts of the game, if you can intimidate that skill guy, that's going to be a huge factor. And they don't have those kinds of elements.
Why do you think Goodrow was so successful in Calgary last season? Because Calgary had a whole bunch of beef to protect them.
Sure. Yeah.
They had a whole bunch. They had Tkachuk, they had Gudmundsson, they had Zedorov. They had Lewis. They had Richardson. I could go on and on with the amount of beef that Calgary had on to protect them. And we have no beef. Toronto has no beef at all, Coach. If I was to name you somebody who has the grit, it's
like I said, like name one guy that gets angry other than Simmons. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't find that. So again, I posed you guys this question earlier. What's a list of 3 players that Toronto could potentially target? Again, I'm not saying Kachuk, right? Because that's an elite player like that. But what player can play in your top 6 that can bring that to the Leafs? That's what they need. In addition to another D-man because Muzzin, it's even a question whether he's going to play again this year. Liljegren's going to come back. So I guess you replace Muzzin with another capable top 4 D that maybe brings a little bit more meanness. And you trade either Kerfoot or Nylander for that top 6 guy that's going to drag people into the fight.
I can give you the name of the top 6 guy right away. And you go to Detroit and you grab Bertuzzi out of Detroit.
Ooh, that would be very good.
There's your man. That's a man in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That could work really well. I think they've been interested in him in the past too.
Yes, they have. They've talked to Detroit over and over again about him.
Yeah, and Detroit does have a certain that's a really good point, Randy.
Yes,
I think Michael has talked about to us in the past about whether he thinks that Bertuzzi is a good fit there long term, just because they have a surplus of good young forwards coming up. That's not a terrible idea.
I don't know how to take that answer. That's not a terrible idea. That's
a great idea. It's a great idea.
Bertuzzi comes to my mind right away.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
The defenseman guys. Yeah. You go to Anaheim, and you pick up
Fowler.
Thank you very much. That's exactly who you pick up. I couldn't remember his name, Marco. Thank you for.
To me, he's very similar to Sandin, very similar to Killington. I think he needs. I think he's
a little meaner. I think he's a little meaner.
I think. If they could have gotten Manson last year, Manson would have been a perfect fit for that.
Manson would have been a perfect fit, but
that would have been Middleton.
Or you could have kept Lyubushkin too, but he's more of a bottom pairing guy. But if you get a Lyubushkin kind of guy that can play in your top 4, that's where you're kind of get. So like a Gudas almost. Even Gudas is a bottom pairing guy, right? But somebody like that, somebody a little bit more mean.
The other guy's name came to my mind is Hag.
Yeah.
Hag, defenseman Hag could be, but he's a bottom pairing guy. Marco, he's not.
I don't know how this works. You guys, you talk about big name. I try to go around to max a defense or forward together. I think the Winnipeg Jets could be an asset. I think a Brendan Dillon with an Adam Lowry.
That's a good name, Coach.
I think
Lowry would be fantastic.
I think it could helping them on both this situation. I don't know the trade, how they can then make a trade, but I'm just trying to get a team where they get a defenseman, because we're looking at top 4. We're not looking like a guy and we need looking at defenseman with a little bit more meanness and tough guy, everything like that. Not like a guy carry on the park, transition, and like O'Reilly. They have O'Reilly, they have Brody. I think the guy like him, he can helping them, Dylan. And then Adam Lowry, you bring a center with a 6'4". He can hit, play hard, and I think that's what they don't have inside that one and this organization of Toronto. What it costs, I don't know. I've just mentioned name right now. I'm just trying to, but I try to match up the link because you guys, you jump in left and right. I was trying to get a team where they have both at the same time.
That's a very good match.
Bottom line is it's very difficult to do in the course of the season. These are all things that you're contemplating during the off season, and you're really giving some deep thought to where you're going to get these players and what will it cost you and what direction you want to take the team.
Yeah, like we said, like I said, guys, these guys are a unit. It's Keefe and Dubas all the way. They are all in on their Moneyball analytical program here. This is their last stand on whether their experiment is going to work. So I don't think, like, you're 5 years into your experiment. Are you really going to pull the plug and change course, like right towards the end? Or like, I would be shocked if they change their course here, right? Like, this is the plan that they have. They're going to go down with the shit. It is what it is. So we'll see. Like, it should be like, to us though, like, that don't have an emotional attachment to the players that they have there, just looking at it kind of coldly. And you just need that chemistry, right? Like, you can't just have the same type of players and just think that you're going to be able to kind of like skill your way out of stuff, right? It's like I said, intimidation is still an important part of the game. I'm not trying to be a Cro-Magnon guy here. Like, I like modern hockey and everything, but that's part of the game, intimidation. And
more for the playoff, I would say, Marco. I think in the playoff, that would be really what they need, more that kind of player they don't have when they show up at the playoff. I think that's a part of, like, if you think about this last season, they have nothing they can go against Perry, Maroon, and Belmar, the death of the Tampa Bay last season. I think that's the kind of players. And William said we have to visit this November 30. Definitely, we're going to see this, William. And we're going to finish this
December
week, guys.
30th.
We're going to finish this, guys, because we have a lot of different things. But and next month, where do you see Toronto and the standing and the division Atlantic, Marco?
I'd say they'll be probably second place in the Atlantic, unless Boston has a huge crash here. I think they will rebound. Maybe they finish like 3 games. Maybe they win 6 or 7 out of their next 10 here or something. It's going to be tough, but they have the team to do it. So I see them second place in the Atlantic by the end of November.
Randy.
I see him battling with Tampa for second, and I think they'll either be second or third. I'm leaning towards second. I agree with Marco. I think they'll be a little bit ahead of Tampa.
We talk about end of November, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And after that.
So how many games are we talking about? 2 a week. That's what, 8 games? Next 10 games, as I think William had mentioned in the chat earlier. And we already mentioned the first 6 of those 10 games didn't sound very promising. So I still think they'll be somewhere around 3rd or 4th in the division. But
that's to give you a lot there.
Yeah, they're going to be with Florida. I think they're going to be around 3rd with Florida.
Wow, Coach, we're going to have to have a weekly Leafs show.
The play about this. Dan talk about the fact like Nylander don't want to play and with Tavares. I was said first line Bundin, Nylander, second line Mano, Tavares, Robinson. About this one over there. Then Mr. A.D. Adrian Naline, the one that we did not talking about Habs. We talk about the first hour of the show, Adrenaline. So maybe you missed the first part of the show. Usually we talk about Montreal Canadiens. We did something special tonight because of that. I think matches start bad, but it will turn around. I would say I'm going to surprise everybody. They're going to be number 4 or 5th in the division at the end of the month.
Oh my God!
That's what I said. 3rd or 4th. But it doesn't matter. The position doesn't matter, guys. Like, you have to ask yourself. They're going to make the playoffs, regardless of how things progress here. The question we should be asking ourselves is: this team significantly different than last year, and are they built to win in the playoffs?
Yeah. No, I think we know the answer to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
And the case is how they go to fix it, right? And the problem we didn't talk about this. And they have another problem behind that, guy. They have no more contract, so they cannot trade a prospect or a pick for an NHL contract because they are at the limit. They are 50 right now.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem is not just how to fix it. It's not just how to fix it, but they don't want to. Like, this is their vision. They're not, like I said, they're not going to break away from their vision at this point.
So it's going to have to be a hockey trade, money for money, and contract for contract. Not only do they have 50 contracts, they don't have much cap. I mean, everybody's saying you trade Marner or trade, but the problem is if they try to trade Marner, guys, that's a $10 million.
There's no way they
How
trade Marner.
how many teams do you know that can even take $11 million on, even if they were trying to trade Marner?
No, if they're going to trade anybody, it's going to be
Arizona.
Like,
That's it.
Arizona, exactly. Arizona or Detroit.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, one thing, the last thing, guys, the one thing we didn't talk about at all, the one thing we didn't talk about is with all this kind of clown carness that's going on in Toronto, how's this affecting Matthews' confidence signing in Toronto after this year?
You don't know how many times I've been asked that.
Yeah.
You don't know how many times I've been asked that question, Marco.
Yeah.
And you know which team has will have a lot of cap space next year if they want to pick up Matthews?
New York Islanders.
Arizona.
No, I'm thinking
Los Angeles.
LA.
Yeah.
And Woodham
LA
Matthews
will have
love
a lot
to
of
play
cap.
there.
Arizona will have a lot of cap. The Islanders will have a lot of cap. There's quite a few teams that will have a lot of cap.
Yeah.
I don't see him going to the Islanders.
Oh, I feel better. I tell me Narta is going to say Montreal Canadiens. So,
No.
I'm glad about that one over there. So I was just waiting, hold my breath about this one over there. But William says something very important here. Coach, I believe the standing are going to be way closer, and then it's just the classic with good playoff spot race. You're absolutely right. And again,
we talked about that today.
It's really hard to make prediction, guys. It's this weekend. For me, if I check, I do every game anyway. I think I have only like 4 of 10. Like it was so hard this weekend. I think that nothing will change. Yeah, not many teams can pick it up. And other effect right now, Vegas and Boston, between the position number 5 to 25, it's about a couple of points. I think Marcus said something yesterday about on 2 points. Between 4 points to get out of the race at some point. So not easy.
So Montreal, like you're 4 points from being the 4th best team in the league, or 4 points from being the 30th point in place in the league.
Yeah, absolutely right about this one. We're good. We're going to be here for a long time. Like we can stay here forever. It's just the passion we love about not only Montreal, the Toronto, but the rest of the team. We could go talk a little bit more about that thing. We're going to close very soon. You guys, you're welcome to stay or not on the quiz. It's just let me know if you still or not. So I want to be sure we pick it up other people.
Yeah, I gotta jump. It was lots of fun though. Thanks for having me on.
Have a good night, Marco. As
Good
one
night, Marco.
out here, we're going to go to the quiz. Is in our tab? Do you stay?
Okay, sure. Why not?
All right, Randy.
Yeah, I've got till 9 o'clock my time, which is 11.
All right, no problem. Sound good. William Snyder, you're the winner of the last contest. So could you join us? That'd be great. And then anybody else want to join us? And the first one pop up, it will be get right away inside the chat. So we're going to finish with a friendship quiz. We got every single day. And I apologize, guys. We got a super chat for Roblox a little bit earlier. And because we was really into the subject. And I didn't want to whatever we do, dancing, whatever you call the move. But I want to thank Mr. Roblox. And I don't know if he's still there. If not, I'm going to remind him the next time he pop up in the chat here tonight. So that'll be the one about this. We just need to see if William Snyder is going to pop up here. That'd be great. If you don't mind, William, to let us know. I love talking ads and leave. William, I think we have a lot of more people who has pop up tonight. We're going to consider those kind of chat for sure. And that's what's just Nick the link about this. I don't have the link in front of me. And possibly, William, if you are still around, could you confirm? If not, we're going to pick up 2 other people to join the show tonight about this. I was the winner too, Coach. Danny? You're absolutely right about this, Danny. You can join us, Danny, about this. It was you and William Snyder. Is that right? I think that's what I got here.
Yeah, Danny won.
Danny was the only one, I believe, right?
I think so. Yeah.
What?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So Danny, you can join us, Mr. Danny. That'd be great. And then anybody else want to join? Just go back here, and that'd be good.
I think the
Some
Chicago.
fan thinks about this because the deal of run and the handshake line about that. So Danny joined us. That'd be good. I apologize for that. I don't know. Maybe that's the last result I got. I think at the bottom I put the wrong people at the bottom at the desk right there. So Sunday was RJ Calabro. So it was the last time about this with Danny T right here.
Nick would like to come on. The Chicago Bears fan, coach.
I cannot coach. I have my granddaughter. Not a problem, Danny. That'd be good. I will go with Nick Kelly. That's awesome. Just join us. That'd be great. Not a problem, and that'd be good if you don't mind about this. And I can get it for you guys. And go from there. Just want to open up here. I got one. Nick, you should check your phone. Kelly, check your phone. And both of you get it right now. So that's done. And then we have Coach. I have fan here, but I still think Mathieu will still pop up. He can an incredible shot. He will turn some about the season come. Oh yeah, adrenaline. Of course, it was not about the one specific players. We're just thinking about the concern about the team overall. So it was more about this one over there. But great point about this. We got that one over there. So let's go over there. That bring you here. And that's
Kelly.
Kelly got it.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you, Entertop? Hi,
Good,
Randy.
good, thank you.
Hey, Kelly.
And we have Nick pop up all the way back. Sorry, William. We called you earlier. We cannot get you. So we got Nick and we got Mr. Kelly, Randy, and our top all in the house. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for being part of the show.
Nick,
Not too bad.
how's your phone, Nick?
Question
your
number
phone okay,
one
Nick?
of the night. Since 1997, how many teams are perfect penalty? It's not that one over there. I apologize for that one over there. I think I did only 4. That's crazy about this one there. Let's move on to the next one about this one. Which statement?
Oh, boy.
Oh, this worked. What is going on here?
Coach,
Hold
you're
on,
doing to us.
hold on. I did it
Already
earlier.
have a headache.
Somehow, some point. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. The quiz.
Which
Compare the quiz
statement
here.
is not true about Phil Kessel?
Let's
Wait,
see
I
what we
might
got
know it
here.
now.
Let's see. Hold on.
Coach, can I say
Which player
something?
born is? Oh yeah, I got it. Here we go. It was my another graphic, guys. Which player born in Sweden have the longest streak with 1 point? Matt Sundin, Henrik Sennenberg, Jesper Bratt, Nicholas Lindstrom, and Felix Forsberg. So we apologize about that one with that. I knew I was somehow, somewhere, I get it. And finally, I got it. So here we go. This is a question, guys. Nicolas, Jasper Brett, see, thanks so much, Nicolas. Who has the longest streak with 1 point born in Sweden? About this, Wesh, back in the house tonight. Wesh, we miss you, buddy. He said E. Forsberg. Dawson Gemert. Dawson go with Lindstrom is D. Got it. Randy N. D. Run with Kings D. Got it. Thanks so much. We have
Can
RJ
you
A.
explain the question?
Jose Duarte C.
Where did Nick go?
Hey,
We
Nick,
have
where are
Luke Everson A. William Sander A.
you? Don't fall off. Coach, are you talking
I don't
about this
see
year?
Oh, we don't see Nick. Hold on. I'm going to bring back Nick after that. Nick, stay in the house. Don't go nowhere.
Stay in the house. Don't,
We
don't
put
throw
you
your
behind
phone.
everybody.
Don't throw your phone.
Denis Brassard D. Vinny E. Thanks so much, Vinny, by the way. And we're going to wait a little bit longer here. We're going to drop everybody more. Can I do that? Yeah, I can. Again, go there.
Can we start with Entertap, please?
I go that. And then Richard Mullen D. Thanks so much. And then I should find Mr. It's live. So that's what we do here. We bring
It's
other people
Halloween.
live
It's
here
Halloween.
about this one there. We need a camera. Coach, where's the camera? We're going to get the camera here. Camera here. There we go.
Come
Hold
on, Nick. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
We're going to get him.
Nick, come.
I'm going to get him again. Hold on. I get this camera number 4.
I hear him.
Hold on. We're going to
We'll
get
ask for
him.
your life jacket. Oh,
The
2
technology,
coaches.
that's what, sir. Here we go.
There he is.
Here we go. Back in the house, Mr. Nick. Mr. Nick, right there. We're going to put your costume right here. And we're going to figure out this one there in the corner right away there. So it's not too bad.
I like it covering me up. Most
It's
people
not
don't
perfectly
want it.
weight, but you see what happened. Lindstrom for Gamer got it. Thailand, Gadja, look at so right about this. Sudden Robert Austin. Then we have there you go. Nick is there. Here we go, guys. Let's start with Nick. By the way,
Coach.
Nick, you have the time. Go
Can
in
I-
after.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah,
I'm not sure I understand the question, to be honest with you.
yeah.
You're saying who has the longest streak and they only had 1 point?
No, but they're also served with point, like a minimum 1 point per game. So it's 10 games straight with 1 point, 20 game with 1 point, everything like that.
So at
Okay.
least 1 point.
Yeah.
At
So
least get a point.
So the point is the point to give you in our top. What is your point of this sensor?
I'm going to go with Philip Forsberg.
E for Mr. Donny Brasco D said, okay. Ryan. Not Ryan, Randy.
Me? I agree. I'm going to go with E also, Forsberg.
Forsberg. All right. Nick.
I'll go with A.
All right.
Same.
Kelly.
I'm
Come on,
going to go
Kelly.
with D. D.
Oh.
D.
Lindstrom about that one over there. And Mr. Natap, if you have second option, what it would be your answer?
Why do you always do this to me?
I'll,
I would
I'll
go
do
with
it.
Zetterberg.
Yeah.
Zetterberg. The answer, guy, is A. It's
Hey.
Oh my God.
something about that one over there. So RJ, William Snyder, we have Luke, but not Luke Laforson, but Luke from British Columbia, Robert Austin, Danny T, Nick take the lead, and we have Luke
Pair up,
Laforson.
Nick,
I think
pair
it's
up.
Luke Laforson got it. So
Who did Danny copy?
so I want to verify this guy to be sure we have Luke and William Snyder. Luke Laforson got it, guys. So confirm, Luke, you got the first question of the night. Question number 2, guys.
Danny only
Good job,
knows the
Nick.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Good job, Nick.
Who? Danny. Yeah, I know.
Here we go. Question number 2. Which defenseman has the most goal-winning game and overtime in NHL history? Brent Burns, Nicholas Lindstrom, Roman Ozzy, Ray Bourque, or Scott Niedermayer? Which defenseman has the most goal-winning game and overtime only in NHL history? Here we go. Good luck, everybody. West, go with E. Ron, we can go with E. CK back in the house. D. Thanks so much. Donny, thanks so much. Luke Laforson, D. And D for, of course, Donny. Then we have Dawson Gamer go with Bourque with D. Jose Duarte with D. William Snyder go with B. Thank you, William. And Dawson Gamer, I got your answer, D. Nicolas go with A. Robert Austin go with Nick Armstrong. That's what we got so far. And then we have Robbie McNevin. Robbie, welcome back, Mr. Robbie. Miss you, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well. Glad to see you aboard. RJ go with D. Denis Brassard go with D. A lot of book tonight. Danny T go with D. Vinny go with D. And let's start with we'll go from Nick this time all the way to Kelly after that. Let's go with B. Nick, you stop because you get a good answer. It's like I play golf, a foursome. They have a less less stroke, you get the start. So let's start in. You drive, give us an answer on that one.
I'll go with C.
C. Roman Ozzy. This is a 200 yards driver. Kelly.
Kelly. Thought we were going this way.
Because we go that way.
Oh. I'm gonna go with. Okay. Let's go with B.
B. Lindstrom. And up top.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is an easy one. I'm going with Ray Bork.
Raybook, awesome. We have a lot of Raybook. Look, Richard Mullen, and then we have Vinny D. Look, I got it. And Mr. Randy. Jesus, call him Ryan all the time.
Right.
Make up my mind between or Niedermeyer, so I'm going to go E. Niedermeyer.
E. Scott Niedermeyer. Mr. Lartap, if you have a second option tonight, what it will be your second option?
I wouldn't have a second option. I'm pretty certain it's
not bored.
But you don't believe it, guys. But we have only one good answer. It's Nicolas de Gouby-Bonneau with Brent Burns with 16 goals in overtime. Wow. And compared to Scott Niedermeyer was the number 2 with 13. So, and remember, guys, that the overtime was not included too much when Raybook play in NHL. So the old player, they have those kind of opportunity like Brent Burns. So that's happening. So Brent Burns is the winner. Only Nico de Gouby-Bonneau have a good answer. So we have 7 players with one good answer so far. So you're still in the game. That's the beauty with Nick right now. Let's go back to question number 3.
Yeah. You didn't go with my answer. Can't blame it on me.
Question number 3, guys. It's number 3 right here. How many players have over 20 points in their first 20 games as the teenagers? So how many players in NHL have 20 points plus in their first 20 games as a teenager at 18 years old, example? Only 2, only 3, only 4, only 5, or only 6? How many players have over 20 points in their first 20 games as a teenagers? So that's what we got so far. Ron, we can go with 2 with A. Thanks so much, Ron. I appreciate a lot. Ron got A. I got it. Nicolas, 6 for E. I got you, Nicolas. Jose, B. Dawson Gimmer, C. Donnie Bresco, C. Robbie McDavid, D. Wash, D. And then we have Vinny, D. Danny, E. Denis Brassard, B. William Slater, C. Luc Lafortune, C. Randy, N, C. Got you guys. And then do we have any other people about that one over there? When you play golf, you have a foursome, guys. Is whatever, everybody have the same number. You always start with the prior who was starting the first. So we have to go back with Nick. He hit 226 yards with his driver at the old number 2. Now let's see what he look like. It's a par 3, so he's used an iron 6, Nick, on that one over there. So give us a little bit more what you're thinking about this one, Mr. Nick.
Oh, my ball went into the water, so I'm going to go with B.
So what's your answer?
It's B.
B with 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your answer. You use your money again, by the way, so hopefully you're going to get that one right about this one. And Miss Kelly, I apologize.
Can I go after Enerchap? 20 points in their first 20 games as teenagers. Okay, so Danny said, I was going to say E, but Danny said E, so I'm going to go with B, 3.
B, 3. Awesome. Mr. Enartap.
I'm going with 5.
5. Mr. Enartap. And Randy.
Unfortunately, I have to go with Enartap because I know a 5 that's done it.
There we go. Richard Monin says C, and we got everything like that. Mr. Enartap, if you have another option, what it will be?
No.
Danny got it at E.
6.
The answer, guys? It's C. Only 4 got that one over there. Now we have William Snyder with 2. And Luc Laportine with 2 are the only winner on that question with Richard Mullen. Only 3 of them have a good answer with C on that one. So let's move on now on the question number 4 of the night.
I thought 5 did it. Well,
Here we go. In the
Danny
last
got it.
100 NHL years, how many players had a hat trick at their first NHL game? How many players have a hat trick at their first NHL game in the last 100? Very important, the last 100 NHL years. So 1988 possibly does not count anymore. 99 does not count. 20 does not count. 5 of them, 6 of them, 7 of them, 8 of them, or 9 of them. Good luck, everybody. And we can go from there. Look at Watson, Dan, Dawson. Yes, Dawson, you get that one over there. You're absolutely right. I forgot to mention your name on that one. Congratulations, Dawson. Wash, go with A. Got it. Jose with E. Dawson, go with B. Then we have Nicola with D. Ron with B. Randy N with B. That's what we got so far.
I can think of 2.
And then we have, let's see, back in something funny. William with C.
Isn't Matthews one of them?
I don't know yet.
Matthew
Luc Lafortune with B. Danny with C. Robbie with B. Donnie Brasco with C. Thanks so much about this one over there. And then we have Vinny with B. Luc with D. Selani, Luc Lafortune said, Wash. I still missing William Snyder. Oh, William Snyder said C. I apologize for that one over there. Here we go. Nick, you're still there because nobody, after you send the ball in the water, so maybe now you're going to send in the trap. We don't know, but let's use now your driver number 1. Explode that ball for the 300 yards. It's a power 5, by the way, this one.
I'll go with C.
C for 7. Thanks so much, Richard Mullen, for your answer, and RJ Calabro for your answer. Miss Kelly.
All right. I'm going to go with C, 7.
7, follow Nick. Here we go. So far, Nick carry on everybody left and right. He play like an army guy at the golf. Ball is sounded about the left and then go back to the right. But
I thought you didn't know golf, coach.
And off that.
I'm going with 5A.
5A. Randy, who do you follow now? Look like you for some are right now on the left and right. What are you going to go, Randy?
Me. Us.
B
Randy
for 6.
Go with B.
I have no idea. B.
B like 6, right?
Yeah.
Listen up, Tap. If you have a second option, what it would be your answer?
Why do you do this to me?
7.
I don't know. I wouldn't have a second answer. I'm confident.
Mine would be B. Mine would be B, my second answer.
All right,
Okay,
because you're absolutely right. Randy, he got it, ladies and gentlemen, and he got the one good answer. But Luc Laportine take the lead, guys, with 3 good answers. So the only one can reach Luc Laportine, guy, is Dawson, 2010, and William Snyder can only match up Luc Laportine for the last question of the night, ladies and gentlemen. A great performance
How many
so
does
far.
Danny have?
Here we go. How many different defensemen in the NHL history have 9 seasons and more with 200 shots on the goal or on the net a plus per season? How many of them did it so far? 8 of them, 9 of them, 10 of them, 11 of them, or 12 defensemen have at least a minimum of 9 seasons with 200 a plus shot on the net. Good luck, everybody.
Danny must have 0 because we're not mentioning him.
Jose C. Danny C. Sorry about that. And Donnie Brasco D. Dawson go with 11. D. Wesh with D. Robbie McNevin with A. Robbie. Nicolas said C. We'll wait for other people. William, Luc Laforson. We're going to wait. Are they all right or down? Luc, so go with B. CK with B. Mike Purser with A. Welcome aboard, Mark. Thanks to be a part of the show tonight. Nicolas, elle ressemble à la plus la question que d'habitude. Oui, mon Nicolas. Luc Laforson go with E. 12. Vinny with A. William Snyder with D. And we'll see. Interesting. During that time, Randy, because you started for some, we gave you a great, good answer the last question. Randy, what is your first shot of this one?
C.
C, 10. All right. Richard Mullen got B. Nick, confusing the rest of your group, but we'll see. Randy N said C.
I'm going with B.
B, 9. Kelly, do you
D,
both of them
11.
have one good answer so far? You are 0 and 4 for the end of this show. What answer it is?
11.
11, D. Mr. Nartap, you had 9, 11 so far. Who do you listen? Who do you follow? Do you go by yourself, or you follow Randy, or you follow Nick? And RG said D, like 11, Mr. Nartap.
I was going to do C, but Danny did, so I'm not doing it.
I'm going with C.
C?
He's copying Danny. He's copying Danny.
No, what Danny? Danny.
Change it, Entertap. Change it. Change it.
So what is your answer, Nartap?
I'm going with C, 10.
C, 10. What will be your second option, Nartap?
12.
12. But no, because you are right. The answer is C, Mr. Nartap. You got it that way. Kelly, she finished with a 0-5, but we have a winner only because William Snyder did not get it and Dawson did not get it. Luc Laforson become the only winner of the contest tonight with 11 good answers, 3 good answers. Luc Laforson, the winner. Mr. Luc Laforson, congratulations about that one over there. It was a great game tonight.
Way to go, Luke.
Many of you have two good answers. Danny, we have Nicolas, we have a few of you guys that have 2 good answers. Some of you have 1. If your name is not mentioned because you are 0 and 5, we don't want to mention who you are. So congratulations, Luc Laforson. Thanks so much, Mr. Nick, for your participation tonight. Kelly, thanks so much. And Randy and Nartap for not only for French requests, but you panelists tonight.
Thank you, guys.
All of you, we wish you an amazing, great night. And we can wait to see you until next time. Of course, have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank
We're going
you.
to get back
Bye,
right here. And we're going to go there. And listen, guys, this concludes an amazing, great show tonight. We talk about 2 teams we like, we follow the most, the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And hopefully, we wish the best for both teams. At the end of the day, we wish for sure, honestly, a great performance. Luc Laforson, I want to mention to you, wish for sure, have a great night. And KLS just showed up. It was my anniversary today. I did not get a good game as a gift. KLS, it was his birthday, looked like. So I apologize for that one over there. It looked like you did not get it, honestly. You're absolutely right. They lost. But, it's happening sometimes. Let's do it. KLS. KLS. Happy birthday. KLS. One more time. KLS. KLS. KLS, happy birthday. Here we go. Congratulations, Mr. KLS. Your happy birthday, everything like that. This concludes, guys, another great show of the HNL Tonight Show. But before we leave, we want to thank everybody for your participation tonight. And I can't wait to see you until the next time. Until the next, we want to remind everybody. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Yes, you have greatness inside of you, ladies and gentlemen. We wish you an amazing, great night, sweet dream. Until the next time, we want to say one more thing. Of course, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the second half of what? Yes, 2022. We wish you an amazing, great November 2022. And of course, don't forget, we are back tomorrow night for the warm-up show at 6 o'clock. Oh, tomorrow night, 5:30, by the way. We're changing the time for tomorrow night because in our tap. So tomorrow night at 5:30, we're going to start the warm-up show. It's just an exception, but usually it's at 6 o'clock p.m. We're going to do a Montreal Canadiens play tomorrow night, and the game starts at 8 o'clock p.m. Until then, we wish you an amazing, great night, everybody. Remember, we love you, people. We want to thank all the moderators tonight. We appreciate everybody. Pas de problème, mon Luc. Congratulations for tonight. Welcome, Danny. Good night. RJ Calabro. 5:30 tomorrow night, the warm-up show, RJ. You're welcome, Chicago. 1-5, not too bad. Good performance overall. William, next time, buddy, take the link. Send me an email. I will send you the link of the show. Thank you, RJ.